I learned a long time ago that people reveal their true nature by how they treat someone they think cannot do anything for them. Standing in the shimmering ballroom of the Crestmont Convention Center, I held a simple arrangement of blue orchids, watching executives and investors prepare for a massive merger announcement. My name is Taryn, and behind my quiet demeanor sat absolute authority over the biggest deal of the decade. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell for more powerful stories every single week. The atmosphere inside the hall was electrified with energy as camera crews adjusted their lenses for the live international broadcast. Meridian Biotech was finalizing a landmark agreement with a global investment group, a partnership calculated to reshape the entire industry. I had spent months reviewing every detail of the financial architecture, ensuring our funds would build something ethical and enduring. Yet, as I stood near the main entrance, I looked like anyone else attending a formal morning gathering. My journey to that ballroom was defined by years of relentless work and a deep commitment to responsible governance. As the founding trustee of Sterling Horizon Capital Alliance, I controlled the majority of the capital driving this expansion. I rarely place myself in the spotlight, preferring to let strategic outcomes speak for themselves. That morning, I simply wanted to observe the proceedings firsthand before authorizing the final transfer that would set everything into motion. The heavy glass door swung open, and the newly appointed chairman, Preston Vance, strode into the room surrounded by frantic aides and private security. His posture radiated supreme confidence, the look of a man who believed the world revolved around his immediate command. I stepped forward with a genuine smile, holding the welcoming flowers and offering a polite greeting. I hoped to welcome him warmly to what should have been a monumental day for everyone. Before I could even complete my sentence, Preston stopped dead in his tracks and stared at me with visible disdain. His eyes scanned my simple business attire, lingering on the basic event pass resting against my jacket. A cruel, dismissive laugh escaped his lips, carrying cleanly toward the nearby microphones recording live for television networks. He scoffed loudly, declaring to the entire room that he never wasted formal greetings on basic service staff. Several surrounding executives let out uncomfortable giggles, eager to validate their new leader at my expense. Photographers captured every painful second as the broadcast fed the arrogant display to thousands of viewers worldwide. I did not flinch, nor did I allow my expression to betray a single drop of hurt. Instead, I carefully set the orchids on a glass side table and walked toward an open seat in the front row. A few board members glanced at me with smug amusement, assuming I was too confused to find the exit. Preston stepped onto the high stage, taking the podium with grand flourishes as he detailed the future of the enterprise. Huge digital screens illuminated the room with glowing financial forecasts, projections, and promises of unmatched global profitability. He spoke as if success was already guaranteed, completely oblivious to the silent storm brewing directly beneath his feet. As the presentation moved into technical details, the chief financial officer unexpectedly paused on a critical transaction slide. He cleared his throat nervously and admitted to the board that one final authorization remained incomplete. Preston waved his hand dismissively, sharply insisting that all paperwork had been settled weeks ago, and demanding the schedule move forward. He was accustomed to pushing past obstacles with sheer volume, assuming rules were mere suggestions for men in his position. I stood up slowly, smooth cloth rustling as the room suddenly quieted down around my position. My voice was calm, carrying across the silent hall as I stated that the final authorization belonged exclusively to me. I informed the entire audience that until the morning disrespect was addressed honestly, every cent of the investment package would remain locked. Whispers broke out instantly, sweeping across the rows of seated executives like a sudden wildfire. The chief financial officer stepped forward, his face pale as he addressed the stunned room of leaders. He officially clarified that I was not part of the facility staff, but rather the lead investor backing 60% of the merger. Cameras zoomed in as Preston's arrogant demeanor shattered into absolute disbelief and utter embarrassment. He swallowed hard, attempting to recover his composure while the live television feed captured his sudden descent into total panic. Attempting to smooth over the disaster, Preston forced a grand smile and invited me up to the main stage. He suggested we restart the morning with proper introductions, treating his earlier insult as a simple misunderstanding among colleagues. I stood firm in my spot, looking him directly in the eye without a trace of anger. I told him that respect cannot be restarted simply because someone suddenly discovers a title they find valuable. A heavy silence descended upon the ballroom as several board members lowered their heads in deep reflection. One sharp legal advisor began frantically scanning the printed master agreement on his electronic tablet until he stopped at a specific clause. The contract contained a mandatory standard requiring all chief representatives to maintain dignified conduct during official company events. Any public misconduct or abuse of power gave our alliance the legal right to pull funding without penalty. The realization hit the room like a physical blow as directors glanced nervously at the bright red recording lights on the cameras. Seeing the situation spiral out of control, the independent board members quickly called for an immediate private recess. Journalists were ushered outside while the atmosphere transformed from a grand celebration into an intensely stressful corporate crisis. The illusion of absolute authority had dissolved, leaving behind the cold reality of contractual accountability. I walked out to the quiet rooftop terrace, looking over the sprawling city line while taking a moment to breathe. Pulling out my mobile phone, I called our executive steering committee and stated my instructions clearly and without hesitation. I instructed them to initiate a full governance review and freeze all pending capital transfers immediately. True leadership requires integrity, and no amount of financial gain could justify enabling unchecked arrogance at the top. When I stepped back inside, the conference room had completely shifted into full-blown emergency management mode. Phosphorescent projection screens showing billions in projected revenue meant nothing as board phones buzzed with frantic calls from regulatory bodies. The chief financial officer officially confirmed that our alliance had suspended all money transfers pending a formal internal review. Executive faces grew pale as they realized their golden deal was slipping away within a matter of hours. Preston made one last desperate attempt to save his position, claiming years of hard negotiation should not be ruined by one moment. I looked at him with steady composure, reminding him that business partnerships depend on foundational trust long before signatures are signed. Every personal choice a leader makes becomes the reputation of the organization they represent. My words resonated deeply with the independent board, who realized they could no longer protect his behavior. Before the sun set that afternoon, the board voted unanimously to remove Preston from his executive duties immediately. The massive merger was officially put on hold until new leadership could demonstrate genuine respect, fairness, and fundamental ethical standards. Younger employees who witnessed the confrontation left with an unforgettable lesson about authority, character, and moral courage. It proved that standing up for simple dignity can spark powerful change across an entire institution. If you found this story inspiring, please subscribe to our channel, give this video a like, and share it with your friends. Which country are you watching this video from? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to click the video on your end screen to watch another powerful story right now.